Hello and welcome to the Pete Braley Show. I'm your host, Pete Braley. What we try to do on this show is to shine the spotlight on people that have made a difference in our lives here in Greater New Bedford or southeastern Massachusetts. Our guest today is someone that I normally talk to in November, maybe September, but we're going to sit down and talk to the election commissioner for the city of New Bedford, Manny Debrito. But I also want to get into all of the other things Manny does, like working with kids, basketball mentor, and also just teaching the kids about elections in the school. Manny, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Pete.
True disclosure here, this is the second time we've done this show. Manny was a guest early on when we started this program, and it happened to be the same week, I think, they converted over to a new computer system. So we taped an entire show and then lost it. So
It's an excuse to get me back on. I like it.
And so I thought maybe you could just sit here and repeat everything you told us then, okay? Okay, maybe not. First, let's go back. We will touch on your role as election commissioner, but let's go back. You're born and raised in the city, right?
Born and raised in New Bedford.
Yeah.
51, almost 52 years old. My parents are both from Brava, Cape Verde.
Okay.
Cabo Verde. And we just watched Cabo Verde do so well in the World Cup. And, coming in and talking about sports and just the unity of that community and the support we got from everyone around the world. It like really brought a lot of Cape Verdeans together. And that's the power of sport.
Yep.
And that's what we want to talk about today, too. So the timing of this couldn't be better. It's funny. I'm not a soccer guy, but that's actually the first sport I ever coached.
Really?
I had never played.
Okay.
When my son Avery, who's almost 28, was about 4 years old, and I coached his youth soccer team for Greater New Bedford, and that's really where my love of coaching began.
Oh, wow.
Was coaching soccer, which is funny. I had
I
no
know.
clue of what was going
Oh,
on.
I agree. My son played for Mariner, and I went to the first practice, and we got the old, well, if no one steps up to coach, there might not be a team. And this was before YouTube, So
Yeah.
I'm talking to friends at work that know soccer. I'm like, what is offsides? I could not understand offsides for the longest time, and now it's pretty easy. Where did you grow up? What part of the city?
I grew up in the West End, right on Route 6 on Mill Street.
Oh, yeah.
Park, on the corner of Park and Mill. I think that corner should be a landmark. We need a green plaque. In my neighborhood, we had such a great group of guys that are all coaches and mentors now.
Oh, nice.
And
Nice.
we had a lot of fun, and it's great. A lot of us have grown up in that poor community and have important roles in the city. So I'm really proud of growing up in the West End. Grew up in the Boys and Girls Club, which is a place where I coach now. And, we love New Bedford. That's where my parents came. My mom actually came through East Providence, Rhode Island. But, two hubs of Cape Verdean culture.
Right.
And, it's just I'll never forget where I was brought up. I always say, New Bedford and Park and Mill kind of raised me.
Sure.
And turned me into the person that I am today. And I think I was a little bit older than my brother and most of the friends in the neighborhood. So that's where I started to develop. At the time, I didn't understand being a leader.
Okay.
And leading guys and the things that I were doing, guys were watching, and I was like the big brother too. We had about 13, 14, 15 guys that grew up in our neighborhood. We all hung out and were all really close.
Wow.
So
now you have one brother or
I have two brothers.
Two brothers.
My brother Mark, it was the football coach at New Bedford
New
High.
Bedford High, right?
Amazing athlete. Probably one of the best all-around athletes to come out of New Bedford, arguably. Obviously, I'm biased. All-American football player. He played at Bentley. As far as I'm concerned, he deserved to be in the NFL. He has all kind of records up at Bentley University, which is a Division II football program. All kind of records, all kind of stuff. I mean, great baseball player, great football player, great basketball player. I don't have those accolades. I was the oldest, and I didn't have the group of friends that he grew up with, where those guys were super talented.
Right.
The Goodine family and the Mendy's and
right.
Dwayne Pena. There was just so many great athletes. He grew up with an older brother, so like I didn't understand a lot of the things because my parents didn't know, so I wasn't involved. I really played for fun, even though I played basketball in high school. I just did it for the love of the game,
Right.
and I really didn't understand the game. I was blessed more with, good looks and a brain and a sense of humor.
And how many times do you tell your brother that story?
I tell him that all the time. I'm 4 years older, and people think we're twins, and I'm like, yeah, good for me, bad for you. You look like you're my age. So, and then my youngest brother, Johnny, is 10 years younger. Same thing. He grew up as a little brother to all of these guys that we hung out with. He actually is in Denver, and he has an old soul. He's an amazing guy. So then I have all these guys I grew up with. I consider them all my brothers.
Sure.
So, and like I said, I think a lot of them look up to me for a lot of the things I've accomplished.
I see so much. Do you think that is something that's central to the Cape Verdean community? Is that feeling of family and community?
It's funny because people will say, have families changed? And I really don't believe families have changed. We've always had single parent homes or homes where there are a lot of stuff going on where, you don't have the traditional family unit. That's always been a thing, but we don't have the community anymore. So like when we grew up, if we were outside and we hung out in my community, everybody in the neighborhood knew who you were.
Yep.
So you were safe. And if my mom didn't see you or see any of us doing something, a neighbor did, and he wouldn't be afraid or she wouldn't be afraid to call you out and then tell your parents.
Right.
People don't do that now. So all of those parents were mentors to us as well. I remember we had a neighbor, Javi Lammers, and he was the first black bus driver for Serta way back. Yeah. And he was actually a boxer. He'd be outside playing his harmonica. He talked to us, and we'd be hanging out, and he would just take us on the bus.
Right.
And on the way back, his route was to Fall River and come back. He'd pull over the bus and get us ice cream. So we grew up with a lot of parents and guys like that. So like we grew up and we had that community. And I think one of the things, and then going to the Boys and Girls Club with Bucky Vincent, Rob Mendy's, Tony Esteves, we did boxing with Manny Debrito, House of Champions.
Yeah.
We had all of these people that, were involved in our lives. And I think, we're really missing that. So it's really important. And I think that's one of the things that I've realized and why I give back. These kids need it. And they actually need more. And again, it doesn't matter if, you have a traditional family or not. Every parent needs help. Mm-hmm. Every parent, you need someone to parrot your message and, tell your kids things. And I think one of the things that, we need is teachers and coaches and parents. One of the last places we can actually do something like playing time. You can hold that back from a child, or, you got to behave a certain way and, teach them a bunch of life lessons.
Accountability.
As a coach, right? Yes. And as a team, how to be a good teammate. In this world, we all need other people. There's nothing we can do on our own. So I think that's an important thing that we can't forget.
You graduated from Bishop Stang.
Yes.
Then went to Bridgewater State and received a bachelor's degree in management science.
Yes.
And then I understand you worked for several financial firms in Boston.
Yes.
Am I right that there was a career change, and what led to that and brought you back to the city?
Yeah, it's funny. So I had worked at Polaroid in Industrial Park, but I was working full-time and going to school full-time. I actually graduated, and I was looking to get more into the financial firm industry. Management science, your minor is basically math. So, there was a lot of accounting, all kind of things. So one of the first things, one of the jobs I first got and applied for was as an accountant in Quincy at State Street. And I took a pay cut just to go up there just to get into finance. I actually got really sick in my 20s and got chronic Lyme disease, and I kind of was knocked out
Oh,
for a
no.
while, about 3 years.
Wow.
And it was like devastating. I couldn't do a lot of the things that I was doing. My body was just a mess. So I met my wife, and I was trying to really get back to where, you know, I was doing things. So I ended up getting back, and the only place that hired me again was State Street, all the way in Quincy.
Oh, wow.
So I was back into, you know, finance. Going back and forth, the commute is brutal. I had worked for Bank of New York Mellon, which was like Government Square in Boston. They moved to Everett, which made the commute even, you know, worse.
Worse, yeah.
And I've had like 3 neck fusions. It was a painful, painful ride. So
Yep.
when the election job came up, it was something like, hey, I can do a lot of this stuff. I really didn't understand elections or, you know, what the laws were, but the management, but the math side, the budgets and stuff like that, I could get.
Right.
So I applied and I got the job. And,
Super.
you know, there's no pathway to be an election commissioner. Back in the day, you would be an assistant and kind of grow up in the office, and then that person would retire and the next guy would move in.
Step up, yeah.
That's kind of not how it works anymore. So luckily, my staff, we have over 100 years of, you know, experience in my office.
Wow.
So they're always a big help to me, and they know, if I don't know it, they know everything to do with elections. So I'm kind of blessed that I have such great people as well.
We'll get back to that in just a moment, but you mentioned your wife. You married into the Paleologus family.
Yes.
Yeah. How did you and Andrea, right?
Athena.
Athena. I get them confused. I'm
Yes.
sure I'm not the only one
No.
that gets the sisters confused. How did you and Athena meet?
We met through mutual friends. She actually graduated with my youngest brother. So my brother was her friend.
Okay.
And we met, and it's funny, I had moved to California. Like I said, I was really sick. And it was kind of like a thing where I'm going to move, you know, get around, a fresh start.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wasn't getting better, so I came back. And we actually met like a month
Oh, wow.
after I came back. Not even a month, I don't think. And it was history after that. We haven't left each other since that time.
How many years have you been together?
We've been married for 16. We've been married together 23, almost 24 years.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Amazing person. And
Yeah.
she was definitely a light in a really dark time for me. I owe a lot of where I'm at and what we've been able to accomplish and build. A lot of it is due to her, an amazing person. She just has like a different energy. I had never met anyone like that. Beautiful, obviously, very motivated and stuff. So, yeah, she actually coached the soccer team with me, and she didn't understand soccer either. But yeah, she's an amazing person. So, every time I talk to her, people are like, "Man, you're just buttering her up when you do these interviews." But I tell her this stuff off the camera and
Right.
off the radio or whatever.
Super.
So she knows. So
Super. Now, mostly now you're working basketball, is it? Coaching basketball?
basketball's my thing. It's always
Yeah.
been like my love.
Who was the better basketball player, you or your brother?
My brother was amazing. Like I said,
Wow,
one of the
okay.
best. Like I said, I'm better looking than him. Even though people think we look like twins, so I always just joke about that. He was just, everything came natural, and he was just a hard worker.
Yeah.
And I just did it more for the love. I look back and I wish I took it more seriously, but like as the first generation child of, I didn't have, you know, the money to do the camps and the training. We didn't really have that, or my parents didn't know to put me in different leagues or whatever. Like
Yeah.
the teams I played on and the leagues, it was because some of my other classmates and friends were playing.
Right. I felt bad for my oldest daughter, because when my youngest daughter started playing softball,
Yeah.
I understood how the system works because I went through it with the oldest. So
Yes,
it's like,
exactly.
oh, if I had known, you know,
And I wish, like I said, I'm 5'11". It's, you know, when I finally started taking it really serious and playing every day and doing all of that, you know, one of my good friends, Tyrone Goodine, was always like, "You're the best 5'11" power forward in the city, in the city," and I'd be like, "Oh, you're the best 6 foot center. 5'11" doesn't make a good power forward.
Right.
I
right.
loved Dennis Rodman, and so I knew if I could rebound and defend and whatever, I can get a role
Yeah.
on a team, because I didn't need to touch the ball or have a lot of shots. I was just out there hustling and scrapping. When my son Avery, who is almost 28, gosh, to admit that is crazy that I have
Yeah, I
an
know.
almost 28-year-old, but I was he was tiny. You're going to be a point guard. And when I started coaching him, to be able to spend more time with him, it kind of really grew my love and my education IQ for the game. I started watching guys like Tony Estevez, and Rob Mendes and Steve Burgo, the things they were doing as coaches, and I was stealing little things from them. So yeah, that's kind of where my love, because I wanted him to be able to take advantage of all of that and be around these great mentors and guys. So that really kind of shaped me as a coach. I'm a way better coach and trainer than I ever was a basketball player.
Question for you. Why do you do it? Because I know, obviously, you're busy with work, you're busy with family, you're busy with your kids. Free time, I'm sure, is hard to come by.
Yeah.
Why do you still coach and mentor?
Like I said, I'll never forget where I came from. I'll never forget that these kids need role models and mentors. I think it's my responsibility and our responsibility to give back. That's why I coach at the Boys and Girls Club. That place really had such a big impact in my life, and I know that it's an opportunity to coach kids the right way.
Right.
I love working with kids. It's something I enjoy. And my pains and aches and pains, I don't move around as well as I used to. Like I said, I've had neck fusions and torn tendon in my wrist, all these sicknesses and illnesses, but I love it. The pain goes away when I'm doing it.
Okay.
And it's funny, I always joke, I love working with kids more. It's much easier than working with politicians. So it's something I really enjoy. And right now I do ages 4 to 7 and 8 to 12. And the first day of my summer June group, this little girl came and brought me a picture of a unicorn. Thank you, Coach Manny. And that's the first day. And here I am. I'm almost breaking down in tears. We haven't even started. And this is a girl that she's been coming to me, and she was dealing with some health stuff, and it just means a lot. I run into kids in places. Hey, it's Coach Manny. They're really, really tiny. Hey, is Coach Manny coming to my birthday? A 5-year-old. Oh, Coach Manny's my best friend. They'll see me play. So, oh, there's Coach.
Yeah.
And as they get older, they'll call me for advice, or I'll see them out, and they make a big deal when they see me. Their parents will call me Coach. The parents will make a big deal when they see me.
Yeah.
There's no greater feeling. And again, it's not about ego and saying I'm the best or any of those things, because I consider myself a mentor over a coach. So it's not a competition. It's not about wins and losses.
Right.
It's teaching kids how to be a good teammate, how to have a great attitude, how to work hard. A lot of these things that are life lessons, and trying to get them ready for when they go into high school. As they get older, it's hard to break them out of bad habits. So we try to that's my thing, instill that early. Behavior at home, behavior at school. I used to collect report cards and all these things. So I'm a little old school. That all comes with, getting playing time. It's not about how talented you are. You could put 5 talented kids on the team and let them just run and score and do all of these things, but how is that affecting all the kids on the team?
Right.
And the kid that might be the end on the bench, or the one that the other kids tease as not being as good, is going to end up being the best player out of that group, because they love it and have a great attitude and great teammate. And one thing I learned too is you're coaching parents and teaching parents.
Yes.
I remember a dad, I used to do it where, let the coaches coach, let the refs ref. If you get kicked out of a game, parents, you're suspended for the next game, and so is your child.
Right.
And that would stop a lot of things, because parents don't want their kid to miss game time.
Sure.
And I remember having a dad, and he was older than me, and he was like, I didn't know I'm not supposed to act like that at games, because that's what I know, yelling at the refs and all of that stuff.
Right.
And I was like, we don't have to. No ref has ever changed the call. You can't change the score. You can't. The kids take our lead. So if you're yelling at the referees, the kids are going to yell
They're
and
gonna
complain
start.
about calls.
Right.
If the coach is doing it, the kids are going to fall. And you don't want to build those habits. Yeah, there's certain things. Let me deal with the refs. And I actually think every coach and every parent should take a referee course to learn. You know, it's a difficult
It's
job.
a difficult job. Yeah,
And
it is.
There's, one team's going to hate you at the end of the game. That's basically it. I used to ref too for a while, and I remember I'm reffing at Burgo basketball.
Yes.
And there's a woman standing on the side, and she's holding a poodle outside, and we're watching the game, and she's yelling at me, travel, travel. And I'm like, you're missing a great game. It's a great game.
Right.
And I just remember thinking, like, this lady's holding a poodle in her hands, and she's yelling at me about missing a travel. These kids were like in 3rd or 4th grade. They're going to travel. It's going to happen.
Right.
We'll correct them. You're almost like a coach out there on the court. Not to mention your team is up by like 16, 18 points. I'm not going to call every single thing.
Right.
But it's kind of funny. You're coaching a lot of parents. So, I think that part of it is important too. We forget about that.
Got to touch on your work as the election commissioner. We don't have a city election, but you're still working, right?
Yeah. There's an election every year, and it goes back and forth. This year's a state election, midterms, and things are getting more difficult.
Difficult how?
Vote by mail, early in person, so you're dealing with a lot more processing. The national climate is the way it is. A lot of misinformation out there. A lot of, there's fraud and there's all of these things.
I remember I asked you once,
Yeah.
within the past couple of years, what your feelings were about the so-called election fraud. And correct me if I'm wrong, you pointed out that in order for it to happen, it would need such a concentrated effort. You can't just rig an election.
You can't, because you're talking about so many people. And I always say, what's in it for the commissioner or clerk or whatever? Our pay doesn't change, right? And whoever wins, wins. And for me, there's been marginal. Of course, you can't stop everything. If it happens, throw the book at the person. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
But there's no proof that it's happening at a high level. And there's so many steps to processing, say, a vote by mail. There's 5, 6 steps that are involved, and you could track your ballot and all these things. And again, it's what's in it for the voter, right? Because you hear like, someone that's undocumented is voting and stuff like that. And I'm like, what's in it for these people? They risk getting caught and getting, shipped out of the country. And I'm like, to vote? As Americans, we don't vote. So that's one of the things. And, working with kids and doing all that and being a role model, I pride myself on, my integrity, my character. You think I'm not going to, risk losing that for something like, to me, my job is to ensure election integrity, safety, accessibility, the operations of election. I only get one vote. I have strong opinions, but I understand that people might not share my opinion.
Right.
And that's okay.
We've forgotten that.
And we can't have
It's okay to disagree.
a civil discourse because I feel some way. A lot of that is based off of how I've grown, my perspective, my life. I'm a child of immigrants, born here. I'm a black man. I'm a family man. I've seen and dealt with a lot of things that other people might not have. We forgot that it's okay to disagree, and let's talk about those differences. I want to learn why you feel a certain way.
Sure.
People don't want to know anymore. They just assume I'm right, you're wrong.
Right.
And there's no middle ground. And I think that's kind of sad. I think we need to get back to, people love the fact that they're building all this animosity and distrust in government. They get money off of that, right? Because that's ratings, that's people listening, that's people, the emotion that
We're
they
getting
drum up
clicks on the internet.
is anger. What do they call that? Rage baiting. Like they want people to be angry. We're all Americans at the end of the day. Being a sports guy, I think of it like a football team. You got your offense, you got your defense. But at the end of the day, you're on the same team. It takes
right.
both sides to win. And again, being a good teammate and moving in the same direction. We've forgotten that. And again, there's no empathy, and people just don't want to talk anymore. There's no more conversations.
Right.
And, people will just say things, and, if someone says it, it must be true, right?
Right.
And my doors are open. You can call me, come
Yeah.
into the office.
Yeah.
I'm pretty open. I'm not hiding. Come in and have an open mind. Let's grab a coffee. We can talk about, elections, how the process works. And people are listening to folks that have no idea how the process works.
Right.
They don't know. Or out here, well, in Texas, or well, in Oregon, or well, I run New Bedford.
Right.
I'm in Massachusetts. This is our process. I don't have time to think about what they're doing. It can't be really that far off from what we're doing, to be honest. And again, are we perfect? No. We can always improve it. And let's work on figuring out what those things are, how we can improve it. I think it's really important that we do.
We have just a couple of minutes left, but I wanted to ask you, you are taking steps to help young people understand about voting. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so when I started in 2017, one of my things was to bring kids in and start educating them on elections. And I think one of the things is, as a coach, like I said, we were teaching parents as well. And youth have such a say now in their household. Parents listen to their kids. Parents are so involved with their kids. I think my dad went to like one half of one of my games in my whole life. He worked on oil tankers. But people show up for their kids now. So it was, get them in, start teaching them about elections and why it's important for them to vote. And again, you're part of the community, you're part of the city. What's important to you? Go home and talk to your parents about it. And we're not telling you who to vote for or who your parents should vote for, but just, having them start to learn then. Then as they go to high school, we have that same talk. Hey, you guys are about to be able to vote. These are the things that make it important and why we want you involved. And then I think we started talking about, hey, why don't we bring you guys in and work as poll workers? Now you're getting a seat,
Okay.
a look behind the scenes, behind the curtain, like Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
You get to see the process. You get to be around the older folks that work as poll workers. We're getting fresh blood in. And now the kids are engaged. They go away to college, same thing. The goal is to help them start learning and be involved in the city, show them that their voice matters, and they go away to all these great schools. Then they come back and they run for office. They come back and they take my job. If we're not giving them things and not including them in what we're doing with the city, they're not going to be, feel like they're part of it.
Right.
So that's a huge thing. And it just kind of just goes with what I've always been doing in my work with kids. And again, I'm in the schools. I talk to so many kids every year, over 2,000 kids a year. And we're looking to even expand. And we do fun things like scavenger hunts, election related. I voted today stickers. We're looking to expand that in every school and making it fun for kids. So we're still doing that. We're going to be working with some summer programs. We're going to be in the schools. You'll see some different things that we're doing. And the stuff I do is outside of my budget. I try to raise money so we can do this stuff where, I get the money for the I voted stickers. I get the money for, the things that we're trying to do with the kids. I give them, the workers, like the NB Votes t-shirts, so they wear that.
Nice.
And it's kind of based off my A's Before J's program, where they're wearing this around school and people are seeing the symbol and they're going to ask questions about why are you wearing that. So I think it's important, again, to get the youth involved and have them go home and talk to their parents. You're teaching parents.
Wish we had more time, but I just wanted people to know that there's more to Manny Debrito than just that office at City Hall.
I could talk for hours.
Thank you for coming in.
Pete,
and we won't lose this one.
I can't wait to see it finally. And it's great. Thank you for having me. I mean, you always do such a great job. We talk elections all the time, and I always enjoy our talks. And thank you.
Yeah.
Again, I don't do this for ego or for people to know what I'm doing, but the fact that our kids are special, the fact that our kids need more. We always hear about the bad stuff. We never hear about the positive.
Yeah, we gotta promote it.
Yes, we definitely do.
Thanks, Manny.
Thank you.
All right. We always leave you with a thought for the day, and our thought today is happiness is found in three things: letting go of what was, enjoying what is, and having faith in what will be. No matter what, thanks for listening, and hope you go out and make it a great day.